And welcome back to the Always Be Building Show, sponsored by Dynasty Football Factory Network. I'm Stephen Chalmers, joined as always by my partner on the right side of the screen, Mr. Ryan O'Dell. Deli, say what's up to the people.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back. Got another job profile for you today. Continuing down the line tonight, a little special one for our boy at DFF, Evan Kerr. His dynasty or his running back one in this class. We're talking Ohio State running back TreVeyon Henderson tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not talking our RB1, just for the record, but
yeah, no, not our RB1. Actually, I'll tell you now, my RB3. Very good profile, though. TreVeyon Henderson. So,
yeah.
Before we get started, Dynasty Football Factory. Well, before I say that, we're running a little late. I apologize to the viewers. So, bear with us. We're ready to get started, though. So, Dynasty Football Factory, as always, like I said, guys, content-wise, some of the best in the game. Rookie profile, rookie draft guides coming together. It's coming together very well. They're doing a phenomenal job over there on that part of it. So, membership is really, really affordable, really convenient. Access to some of the best content in the game. Dynasty, Best Ball, Redraft, Debbie. You got our YouTube. Ryan and I strictly handle the YouTube. Bring you content from all over. Doesn't matter. Just fantasy football addicts over here, just trying to talk football. Ryan, anything you want to say about it before we get rolling?
Oh, yeah, no. All set. Ready to get into TreVeyon.
All right. So, this one's for Evan.
Shout out, Evan.
Hope you're watching, buddy. So, got to watch TreVeyon Henderson up close and personal for 4 years. Missed 2022. He did not play the Penn State game. He was back in 2023, played us in 2024. Obviously, 2021, he absolutely killed us. So, I've got a lot of exposure to TreVeyon Henderson. Let's give the background. 5'10", 208 pounds, projected 4.4 flat 40. Could possibly be better. I do expect him to be that, if not better, 4.39 guy. Potentially, he could absolutely kill the combine, and that could really push his profile up to a possible high second-round pick, maybe a first-round pick, depending on how teams are viewing these running backs. I am willing to say that there could be multiple running backs drafted in the first round in this class. A lot of talent in the running back position. A lot. So, give a little background on TreVeyon. True freshman season breakout, over 1,560 scrimmage yards, 19 total touchdowns, 7.4 yards from scrimmage. I'll be honest with you, from that freshman season, I had him pegged to be the next Ezekiel Elliott type running back out of Ohio State. I don't know who didn't. And he looked really special. The Debbie community really pumped TreVeyon Henderson. Everything was right. You weren't going to have to worry about his weight. He was pushing over 200 pounds early. Size wasn't an issue. Kid had elite athleticism. Was a contributor out of the backfield as a receiver and a runner. Ohio State, you're not going to play. You're not going to be on the field if you're not willing to protect it for pass pro. I'm not saying his technique is perfect, but he got nitty and gritty, and he put his face mask in somebody's fucking chest. Just what it is. He was good. He was an all-level prospect. Really enjoyed watching TreVeyon Henderson play his freshman year. He was explosive, over 6.8 yards per carry. It was damn near almost 90 yards per game on the ground as well, just so you guys know. He was very impressive. And then 2022 happened. 2023 happened. 8 games played in 22, 10 games played in 2023. Explosiveness blacked. Back-to-back seasons dropped under 6 yards per carry. I'm not saying it was terrible, 5.8, 5.9, respectfully. And then we come back to 2024. Shares a backfield with Quinshawn Judkins. Didn't know how I liked that for both of them, but it did keep them both fresh. This year, back over the 6 yards per carry mark, over 7 to be exact. Again, showed his elite versatility, his elite athleticism. Another season with over 25 catches. Just giving you guys a background and a natty. Actually balled out in the playoffs. Him and Judkins both balled out in the playoffs. And here we are. Let's dive in, man. TreVeyon Henderson, baby.
Look, I think important thing to address before we get into anything else. Great coverage on stats, but I think the big thing with him is you see the big boom year, kind of like how Quinshon Judkins has. But ever since then, injury in 2022, broke a bone in his foot, if I'm not mistaken.
Liz
2023,
Frank. Liz Frank. Yep.
2023, he had an undisclosed injury. Not 100% sure if they ever revealed what that injury was, but he's missed, 7 games in his college career and didn't eclipse the 1,000-yard mark. Barely eclipsed it this year. Took him 16 games to get there. Only had 63.5 yards per game on the ground this year. I get he shared a backfield with Quinshon Judkins, but does that worry you at all that, they brought Judkins in to kind of remedy TreVeyon because maybe they thought, hey, this kid could get hurt again? Or is it just more so, hey, why not bring more firepower to this team and get a national
No,
championship?
I think it was all about beating Michigan. I really do. I think
They didn't
after
beat Michigan.
they didn't beat Michigan, but I think Ryan Day knew what was at stake. I really
Yeah.
do. And I think when a guy like Quinshon Judkins enters the transfer portal, you already bring in Caleb Downs. you spent the most NIL money in the transfer portal this year. Ohio State did, and why not cap it off? Why not add a guy like Quinshon Judkins to a TreVeyon Henderson skill set? It just works out perfectly. Unfortunately, in the league, there's only probably 7 or 8 guys that I can honestly say that I trust to be true bell cows anyway. So going into the NFL, I'm not really sure what the dynamic looks like for most running backs when it comes to having a backfield to themselves anyway.
Sure.
I believe that if a running back enters the landscape and gets 15 touches, 15 to 18 touches a game, you're a running back one. The days of Adrian Peterson and LaDainian Tomlinson and those guys, Curtis Martins of the world, the Frank Gores of the world, dominating touches, dominating carries, 25 plus carries a game, that's over. It's over.
I mean,
And
realistically,
that's okay. That's okay.
Who in the league is doing that anymore other than
So I remember
Kyron,
DeAndre Swift had an outlier game against us. He had a 30 carry game.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry
I think
has
it's just Bijan and Kyron are the two that are like the true 100% bell cows. Outside of that,
Derrick Henry, obvious bell cow.
Henry.
Saquon Barkley had 345 carries this year in 17 games.
Joe
I
Mixon,
mean, there's outlier guys. There's outlier guys.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like I said, that DeAndre Swift game, he missed 4 weeks after that game. he had 30 plus carries against the Steelers in that game. Those games are outlier games now.
Right.
But there's just not many running backs that are going to come into today's game and dominate the NFL backfield like that. So in saying that, in today's NFL landscape, TreVeyon Henderson is a running back one. He's going to enter the line. He's going to enter this landscape as a top 15 dynasty running back without ever taking a step on the NFL field. His draft capital and his profile alone does that for him. Like I said, it's unfortunate that after the injury or after his freshman year, he didn't get to live up to that hype that we had him pegged at, because that freshman year was truly special. Like I said, he was on the Ezekiel Elliott level of Ohio State running backs in that kind
absolutely.
Of and, Zeke, I watched Zeke absolutely kill at Ohio State.
Yeah. And what, broke his foot 8 games into his sophomore season?
Yeah,
that derailed everything.
Yeah, that Liz Frank injury is a very tough injury. I've seen a lot of running backs bounce back from it. The most recent being Travis Etienne. Etienne had a running back 2 finish the year after the injury. Then he comes back finishing running back 3 in 2023. Again, I don't think 2024 has any ill effect on the Liz Frank. I just think that was just him being banged up all year. So last one I can think about that off the top of my head being a running back was Le'Veon Bell. And we all know how special Le'Veon Bell was in his prime.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, Liz Franks tend to impact players differently. I remember Sammy Watkins was never the same after his Liz Frank at the first year. So
also a high risk of re-injury. So just keep an eye on. I mean, it's been 2 seasons since anything's happened, but it's not to say when he gets to the next level, it can't pop back up again, because it is a frequent one of those injuries that can reappear later on in the career.
Yeah. And you said the injury in 2023 was not disclosed. I thought it was a knee. a knee injury, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure on that. But the profile positives. There's a lot of positives to his tape. I'm just going to start it off. 6.4 yards per carry over a 4-season stretch at Ohio State. Efficiency is his game. He is an efficient runner. He is a patient runner. And once he finds what he wants to do, he hits it. He hits it hard.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The other big thing is, for as big as the guy is, I mean, he's on the heavier side for running backs. Hard to just tackle him with just your arms alone. That being said, he's a pretty explosive guy given his size. Back to his freshman year, I know it's hard to go back that far in 2021, but had 34 carries, over 10 yards, 15 over 15 plus. So that's definitely the level you want to see. 2022, 2023, kind of dealing with some injuries. 2024 comes back. You see that efficiency come back with 7.1 yards per carry. So kid can move. He's got high-end speed and he can get there. I was honestly, for who he was, surprised that he was projected at the 4.4. I know you said that he can do better than that, but if he runs a 4.4, then I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah. He's probably the top 5 running backs between Ginty, him, Omarion, Caleb, and Jukins. He's the most athletic when it comes to the combine results. I do believe that he's going to have the best combine out of all 5. And Ginty being closely behind him, I believe that the combine is going to significantly separate Jukins, Omarion, and Caleb Johnson.
Yeah.
But TreVeyon Henderson is the most athletic from that standpoint. Again, so when we talk about the patience, I love that his eyes and his feet work together. I love that when he sees something, he wants it, he goes and gets it. I love his change of pace and his direction, his ability to stop and go on a dime. He really has that lateral quickness and agility that you want to see from a running back. Not just the strength aspect he possesses, but the speed and, like I said, the speed and the lateral agility that you want to see him possess. In the open field, dude's an absolute menace. An absolute menace in the open field.
Yeah.
It's very hard to tackle him one-on-one in the open field. And I just love his ability to make people miss.
Yeah. And I think the big thing, and great going to the next subject, is his receiving game. I think we see him work in the open field is best in the receiving game, where he doesn't really have a whole lot. I don't think he's ever averaged more than 3 catches a game in his college career. But with those, he's been over 10 yards per catch multiple seasons. So once you get the ball in his hands on the outside, given his route tree is not the most advanced thing in the world, but swing the ball out to him, he's going to make some moves and make a play on the ball. I mean, throwing him the ball on average for 3 seasons out of the 4, he's getting you a first down if you give him the ball in his hands.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. He's a viable receiving threat out of the backfield. Again, you're talking about the volume out of the backfield, which it's not a lot.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot of receiving threats that we talk about in college that don't stand out. You know what I mean? I remember Breece Hall, his highest reception count for a season was only 30. Sure. You know what I mean? And we know that Breece Hall possessed an elite receiving profile. Bijan wasn't that high. I don't even think Bijan cracked the 40s. No. You know what I mean? Guys like that who possess elite receiving profiles. I will say, though, that those guys that we had discussed, they probably possess an overall better route tree.
Sure.
But I believe once you can get the ball in TreVeyon Henderson's hands, no matter how you do it, he's going to make a play.
Right.
And you had discussed the route tree. That is one of my negatives for TreVeyon. But no matter what, you can scheme to get a player the ball in his hands. That's easy.
Sure.
And that's just something that the Ohio State offense has done over his 4 years. And
right.
they've done him no disservice. He's just done very well.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, not all prospects are perfect. The negatives. The biggest red flag, the injury history cannot be ignored. There's just no way. There's no other way to put it. When you're missing games like this in college and when you see the efficiency drop that he had from his freshman season, like he did in his sophomore and his junior year, Unfortunately, these injuries, they have to be discussed. This is the reason why he didn't come out as a junior. He stayed one more year in college. I mean, when you talk about this, the running back shelf life is so short.
Yeah.
This is the shortest shelf life in all of our game. And his window of being an elite option for us as dynasty football managers is already slim. I mean,
yeah.
TreVeyon Henderson is what? Going to be 22 years old when he enters the league. 22.
I think it would be 23 by the time the season starts, if I'm not mistaken.
23. Okay. So you get what I'm saying? The window is smaller for this guy, as opposed to a Marion Hampton or Quinshawn Jukins who are going to enter the league at 21 years old. I'm not saying age is the ultimate benefactor for this, but mix in the injury history, mix in the, you know what I mean? Mix in all that. The window of opportunity for elite play is smaller with TreVeyon Henderson. It is.
All right, so I know we talked about his patience behind the line of scrimmage as a pro, but there's obviously some times he's going to get a little bit greedy. There's some plays you can point out where you kind of can tell he bounces the ball outside, trying to make a play quicker than the blocks give him time to have a hole on the offensive line to get through. Ends up losing some yards on some of those plays, but that's something quick fixes in the NFL next level. I don't think that's anything that's too glaring. Because for the most part, as long as he stays on the inside, waits for that block to open, he can burst through, being no problem.
Yeah. So when I watch him play, the first offense that I go to where I think success would be so vital, for him would be, obviously, I go to Kyle Shanahan. And I say that because any outside zone scheme is going to thrive with a TreVeyon Henderson type player.
Yeah.
Any guy that looks to see what sets up in the line of scrimmage and then bounce it out real quick with that lateral agility, that speed to get to the outside and make a move, it would just work. Kyle Shanahan and his system would just work. So when I think of that, I look at his tape and I already noticed that this guy tends to want most of his runs to be to the outside anyway. When it seems like he stops and hesitates in the line of scrimmage for just a second, or it seems like he's going to get bottled up, he wants to bounce it. He doesn't try to find that little hole. He doesn't try to find that gap and take off in that gap. Like your Marion Hamptons or your Quinshawn Jukins, the strong north-south runners. Sometimes he gets afraid to do that, in my opinion, and he looks to take things outside too quickly. But that's just me. And like you said, when he tries to do that, it gets a little fancy. Sometimes he can lose. It takes a couple of yard losses here at the line of scrimmage. Okay.
Only other thing I had for a negative, and I kind of look back to my previous year notes on my computer here. It's what I've been kind of fiddling around with. The inconsistency since his injuries. I mean, it did look a little bit better this year, but long speed is kind of a inconsistency in this game. Some games he's got it and he hit that hole and he'll give you 20, 30 yards. And then there's other games where it seems like he's kind of lackluster, getting caught by the linebackers in the backfield or a safety. Other than that, though, I think he's got what it takes, despite all these negatives, to be like a workhorse back, even though there's not many left at the next level. You say 49ers, I would love to see him with the Chargers.
See, I think the way that Blake Corum was used, I believe in Marion Hampton, a guy that creates yards after contact.
Yeah.
I believe a strong north-south guy that fits the Greg Roman, that fixes the hardball mentality, those type of guys.
Yeah.
I truly believe that Minnesota would be his ultimate skill set.
I don't hate that either.
I really do. I really, really do. I believe Minnesota would fit him very well. Speaking of Minnesota, again, my pro comp, I have two. So I go to this name very often. Jamal Charles is my first name. My first name is Jamal Charles. Yes, I know this is a guy who never averaged under 5 yards per carry until the second ACL surgery in the NFL. Cool.
Yeah.
I go to Aaron Jones, but the problem with Aaron Jones is Aaron Jones ran a 4.57 at his combine.
Yeah.
He's better than a 4.57. Aaron Jones with a little bit more juice. Those are the two names that come to me. People, I've seen Clinton Portis. Clinton Portis was 230, guys. Clinton Portis was a different beast.
He lost a little bit here on Jamal Charles because I don't know how you feel. You see Jamal Charles, but for me, he was that guy, man. He had what, 4 or 5 year run where he was unstoppable.
He was, but he was also a third round pick out of Texas. Like, truly didn't break out till his junior year. He didn't crack the 1,000-yard mark at Texas until his junior year. He had a lot of rushing volume when it came to the touchdown side of things, but Jamal Charles, efficiency-wise, didn't break the 6 yards per carry mark or the 1,000-yard mark till his junior year. I've seen TreVeyon do that. I've seen TreVeyon surpass that as an 18-year-old freshman walking onto the campus. So
Fair.
I do believe that TreVeyon has a special skill set. I really do.
I'm 100% stealing this comparison, but the more I've thought about it the past few weeks, the more I kind of agree with it. And I'm going to say a name. You're probably going to get a little bit drawn back, but I see Chris Carson.
Chris Carson was 245 pounds. Chris Carson was big as shit. Hey, man.
Yeah, hey, they play the same style ball. I know he was a little bit bigger, obviously, but had he not had that neck injury, I think he could have had a great career. I mean, he played pretty well for the Seahawks up until that injury.
Chris Carson was great.
Yeah. But something I cannot close this out enough, especially from a dynasty standpoint. Something you have to keep in mind, and we already touched on it earlier, but I just want to stress it as much as I can. We're talking about a running back who can definitely come into the league and serve as an RB1, RB2, probably more towards the RB2 range. But he is going to be coming to the league at 23. He doesn't have significant touches on his body. He's only had about 670, I believe, somewhere around there in college. Had some injuries along the way, but I run by this 1,500 touch rule, excuse me. He's not even halfway there yet. He's had some injuries to deal with, so keep an eye out for that, but still got to hammer it in. Some of these running backs this year are coming out at 21, 22. He's going to be coming in 23 with 4 years of college ball on his back already. So something to keep in mind when you're drafting TreVeyon. I wouldn't select him personally inside the top 7, probably 8, 9, 10 guy for me. I don't know where Steven stands, but with the shelf life of running backs nowadays, I think TreVeyon's kind of more towards the back end of the first for me.
Yeah, I have him as running back 3. When I'm breaking down the first round, I have personally Ginty, Tet, Egbuka, Omarion 3-4. Personally, I'm taking Omarion at 3, Egbuka 4, just because I love Omarion Hampton that much. Omarion 3, Egbuka 4. Now, this is where I told you that I feel comfortable taking the QBs now. Shedeur is my QB1. That was set on Wednesday. It would be Shedeur, and then it would be TreVeyon for me at 6. I feel very comfortable with TreVeyon in that range. And then 7 is where it gets real fun because we haven't talked about your guy yet. You're a big Luther Burden guy. Cam Ward sits there, and Cam Ward could potentially be the number 1 overall pick in this draft class. And we haven't even talked about him yet.
Yeah, that's why I think I like Caleb Johnson more than TreVeyon, but that's just me. And then I definitely draft Cam Ward over TreVeyon. So I think regardless, here's my thing with quarterbacks in Superflex leagues. If you have the pick, honestly, you might as well take the shot on these quarterbacks. I mean, every year we see these guys that are not supposed to be great. I mean, the newest example would obviously be Bo Nix of last year. I say take the shot on these guys. I see these I don't want to talk about the quarterbacks, but I think as far as a Superflex standpoint, if you're in a Superflex league, you have to take the quarterbacks over some of these, especially a 23-year-old running back, in my eyes, is probably more of a value than Because if the quarterback works out, and you get Cam Ward or Shador, and they can be your starting quarterback in QB1, QB2 spot, boy, you get at least 6-7 years out of them compared to maybe 3 or 4 great seasons at running back.
You can always flip your assets as well. You have to be a smart manager when you're at that point. Like if you're investing in a TreVeyon Henderson type player, a Marion Hampton type player, an Ashton Jeanty type player, that means you should be ready to win. You know what I mean? I've invested in a lot of first round picks, like in this class. In your league specifically, I have the overall number 1 pick due to your rebuild. I have rebuilt drastically in that league. I do have the number 1 pick. I am going to take Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty to me is the piece that's going to bring everything together for me with this young roster. And I feel very confident with that team going forward for the next 5 years to where I could compete for a 5-year window, set it and forget it and not have to worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only asset I feel I would have to start looking to move is like a Nico Collins type guy.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So like that's just like an example for me. Like once you get to the part where you're investing in your running backs, your wide receivers, your quarterbacks, and your tight ends should be taken care of. I feel like running backs are the last key to the puzzle. But this class is so special, in my opinion, that this is where it all comes together.
Sure. All right. Clips.
Yeah. So longs. So I do love this lateral agility here. Like I wish I could just pull this all up. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. So as you notice, this is what I refer to when I talk about getting bottled up. But this play actually works for him. I don't know what Texas is doing, to be honest. But anyway, let's just run this back one time. He's bottled up here. The linebackers just never commit.
Yep.
Guard pulling. You got your tight end / hybrid wide receiver down here on the pull down. He's taken on the inside pass rusher. You got an outside nickel DB safety in the box. I don't know what the hell he's doing here. Linebackers never step up. I can't explain this, but you see what I see.
Yeah.
He's bottled up, should be bottled up, and then he bounces it out. It works. It does work in this situation.
Example of him bouncing it out.
And he houses it.
Change direction there. Yeah.
Change of direction is very smooth. Yes. That is one play though where he should have got bottled up. And it actually worked in his favor. Oh yeah. This is the Oregon one. He absolutely smokes Oregon on this.
We are on pace. TreVeyon Henderson.
Yeah, long speed. Yeah, he's gone, bro.
Yeah.
He's gone. He's gone. That's why I say he's an easy low 4.4, maybe high end 4.3 guy. He's gone. Which one's this one? Okay, so this is the run from his freshman year. So this is in the Penn State game. This is my favorite run from his freshman season. I was trying to find this clip. This is it. We're in the horseshoe. This is a pretty impressive run, man. I'm gonna let this play out. This is pretty good.
Just straight up the gut.
Just straight up the gut.
Burn him.
Burn him.
That's the TreVeyon I want to see at the next level. I think we've seen him get back from those 2 injuries, and obviously he has. I mean, 7.1 yards per carry in college is absolutely absurd. So I think he's got his explosiveness back from that injury. Took him what?
His change of pace in this clip, his IQ, his direction, his ability to see the defenders come through, step up, go, make the move, and go. Yeah, he gets tackled here. Okay. But, I mean, we're also looking at a 55-yard gain.
Yeah.
And C.J. Stroud's in the backfield. It's pretty cool to see. Anyway, I got one more clip here. That run, man, he torched us. Absolutely torched us. Where's the one? That's that. This is the last one, right? Yep. So this is also in the Texas game. Give it 1 second and let it work. So this is a little screen pass out here. This is he houses.
I mean, look at them blockers, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's got nothing. Yeah, he's got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, that was easy.
Yeah, he's got nothing to worry about there. He got a wall of blockers in front of him. It was beautiful. I mean, just an easy pitch and catch there from Will Howard to him. Not much else you can do there. But that's just my guy. You know, I mean, I know he's an Ohio State guy. You're not supposed to give respect when you're not supposed to give love to a college like that when you hate the program. I do hate the program. And, you know, but he's a good running back. He is. And I do believe that with all that he's endured in his college career, it is going to make his elite window for opportunity in Dynasty probably a little smaller. He's probably got a 4-year window that I feel comfortable in investing in, maybe 3. But, you know, 3-year window, if you're smart and you can flip your assets and you know when to sell high on your players, he's a guy that you could gain a lot of value of. Like I said, these guys are walking in as top 15 products at the position, and they've never stepped on the NFL field.
Right.
So we're back Sunday. That's going to end us for it's going to end it tonight for TreVeyon Henderson. We're back Sunday. It's your turn to pick the player. Go ahead.
Cam Ward.
God damn it. All right.
It's about time. Put him in the corner.
All right. So, Ryan, okay. Also, for full disclosure, please, just want to say this. Travis Hunter is committing as a DB.
Yeah.
So, Ryan and I will not be doing a prospect profile on Travis Hunter. He is committed as a DB. He is going to the combine as a cornerback. I cannot do a prospect profile on Travis Hunter if he's not going to play as a primary wide receiver.
Right. This is why we waited, because I think obviously if he would have came out as receiver, we probably would have covered him already as the probably wide receiver 2, 3, depending on how you feel about Ibuka. But I mean, yeah, it hurts to see him come and be testing as a corner. Not to say that he won't do both at the next league, but I think definitely he's going to be playing more on the defensive side of the ball.
Right, and I do believe if you're in the IDP league, great. You're going to draft him with upside there as a receiving option and a DB. Cool. If you're offense only, sorry.
Yeah.
You're gonna get limited snap shares. You're gonna get a DB1. You're gonna get limited snap shares at a wide receiver. I don't know what a snap percentage is gonna look like. We got to see it. I'm not willing to invest a first round pick in a Travis Hunter. I'm just gonna throw that out there now. So,
all right. That being said,
Cam Ward Sunday.
Cam Ward Sunday.
Ryan wants to talk Cam Ward.
My time to shine.
So that's going to end it for us tonight. We're gonna get on out of here. Ryan, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, per usual. We make a huge killing on Twitter tonight. We had 181 come in, show out. We appreciate you guys so much. That being said, y'all came in today mid video. The YouTube Dynasty Football Factory on YouTube. We're trying to build that up a little bit. If you guys missed anything at all, that'll be up tomorrow at some point, probably tomorrow night. Probably looking more towards Saturday upload if you guys are watching it as a daily video. Check us out on YouTube. Something we're really trying to work on growing there.
We are pushing 500 subs, so 500 subs would be amazing. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. And on that note, we are going to end the stream there, and we are out.